Thursday Love. Thursday Love.
Hey everybody. Hey everybody. Welcome. Come on in. Come on in. Come on in. I know some people have been waiting. I'm glad you are here. I am glad you have tuned into another segment, another edition of Thursday Love with TJ and Sherry. On tonight, we have a special treat. TJ's not here just yet, but he's coming. Uh, that the duties of parents trying to get multiples in different locations. He's going to pick up our daughter from practice, so we're waiting on him. But welcome to Thursday Love. We are here. Our motto is loving me, loving you, and loving us. Tonight we have a special segment, one that is dear to my heart. For those that know, Mother's Day is coming up this weekend. And we like to celebrate our moms the whole month, the whole year. I don't know about you. When my mom was alive, I'd celebrate her all. Hey, baby. Hey, TJ. That's not baby. I like to celebrate her. You love to celebrate at any time. Moms are real special. They are our nurturers. They're our disciplinarians. They are the one that guides us and teaches. And then sometimes they even become our best friends. And we thank God for our mothers. So on this edition, I thought to bring on some very special women to me that are dear to my heart. God laid on my heart about a year ago to do a segment on single mothers who will just single mothers. I just wanted to bring on single mothers because my mom was a single mother for a time. I was a product of a two-parent home, but then my parents got divorced when I was 14, and so between 14 and 18, and the rest are pretty much my life, I was part of a single parent home, and so I know how it feels coming from that, but I'm not a single parent myself. And sometimes I think single mothers get a lot of crap. They get looked at differently. Sometimes it's even taboo to even say the word single. So it's like, you single, you have children, like what? I don't like it. I didn't like it when I used to see it, when people used to say certain things to my mom. But I think they're some of the strongest women I know. They're most beautiful, creative, intuitive, intelligent, charismatic, and funny. And I love those type of women. Did I say strong? Yeah, strong women. So tonight we're going to highlight some beautiful women. And I just want all the women to come in, all the mothers to come in. And if you, like me, your mother is not here, my prayers of strength and comfort go out to you. Because as always, I'm missing my mom. So I know some are missing theirs as well, whether it be a grandma, an aunt, a godmother, so we'll deal with that another day. So I don't want to belabor the time anymore, because we are starting just a little late, because our moms be working and rolling, and they in now. So we're going to bring in on our ladies. And before I bring them in, I do want to say that this is May. Today is Cinco de Mayo. Today is also a National Day of Prayer. It's a lot of stuff going on this month. And also, month has a lot of national awarenesses. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. It's Lupus Awareness Month. It's Stroke Awareness, Brain Cancer, and Brain Tumor. My sister had a brain tumor 3 years ago. She made it through her surgery, and she's doing well. I love that my sister is a survivor of a brain tumor. Then there's foster care awareness, and those are just to name a few of the awarenesses that are going on just this month. But tonight we're talking about, my husband's called them superheroes. So we're going to bring on the superheroes of tonight. The mothers, the mompreneurs. I don't know if I can say that right. Mompreneurs. That's what they said, but I'm going to bring them on anyway. Let's see. Let's get them in here. I love it. I won't do that more often. Hey, ladies.
Hey.
Here are the superheroes that TJ was talking about. So I'm so excited. Once again, ladies, I'm going to say it again. I'll probably say it all night. Thank you so much for accepting our invitation to come on Thursday Love, to celebrate you being a mother and an entrepreneur. So we're just gonna take it one person at a time for you to introduce yourself, if you don't mind telling it, and tell your age if you don't mind. I know some women don't feel like telling their age. You don't have to, but my name is Sherry. I'm 43 and I'm a mom. Just tell your name, your age, and what is your business, and who. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first. I always
Yes.
like to go first. Hi, y'all. Hi, I'm Pastor Debbie Everett. I have such a blended family. So I birthed, well, I really didn't birth them, but I had 2 C-sections, praise the Lord. So I have 2 biological children. I have a couple bonus daughters, my chocolate drops. But I've always viewed myself as, if I'm a parent, I don't pick or choose how I love the child. I just love them the way they come out. And so that's my little mantra, if you would. So I have been in business in pastoral ministry since 1999. I am 54 years old. I have a baby business, No Safer Place, LLC. We deal with the population of certain patients, clients, those that have struggles and issues and have to be placed. So I do AFL homes. My job is inside of my home. So it makes my patient a part of my family. And that's what I love more than anything. I came from a background of, mommy, daddy, not together. It took a village to raise us. And I thank God for the aunties and the big mamas and the grandmamas and all of those that played a part, which made me such an anal mom, because I didn't care what happened. I was going to be there for mine. I wasn't leaving. I wasn't going anywhere. So it took a lot of sacrifice and a lot of work and a lot of prayer, but God did it. I wasn't leaving. I wasn't going anywhere. So it took a lot.
Okay.
All right. So I'll go next. My name is Stacey Michelle. I'm Stacey Michelle, the entrepreneur enthusiast, and I have 3 amazing daughters and a host of beautiful godchildren. I am 40 years young. I'm a single mother because my husband passed away about 3 years ago. And I have wanted to be an entrepreneur since I was 15. So I have embarked on this path and this career to become a businesswoman. So, how, like, when kids are in school and they're like, oh, I want to be a doctor, I want to be a lawyer, I want to be a teacher, I want to be a preacher. I was 15 saying I wanted to be a business owner. So there was no path, no track, no curriculum for that. So I just kind of winged it for the first half of my life. And about 3 years ago, I took a huge leap of faith and decided I'm going to give this entrepreneur thing everything I've got, because it's all I've ever wanted to do. And I am a full-time entrepreneur, a full-time mom, and we rocking and rolling. I have 4 businesses. I'm taking one of my businesses for the first time ever into brick and mortar, and it is the trying and testing of my faith. It is think it's I don't want to say easy, but it's less of a hassle when you running a business from home, because your overhead is very, very, very low. So I feel like I'm paying bills in 2 spaces, bills in my house and bills in somebody else's. And so it's a learning process, but it's something that it's a challenge that I accept, because when people decide, hey, I want to go into business, they have all these different questions. They have questions that I wish somebody would have answered for me 25 years ago. And so now I can say, hey, this is what you should do, and this is what you should consider, whether you're a home-based business or brick and mortar business. So that's me.
Hi.
Nice.
Well, I'm Clarice Gerald Hall, and I am 47. Um, I am the proud mom of 3 kids, but I've been married now for 8 years, and so with that, I have 2 bonus babies. And
Mhm.
actually, you know what? I'm gonna make that 3 bonus babies because my children have a half brother, and their mom is my sister. And I know some people
Mhm.
don't understand that, but that's my
That's
girl.
beautiful.
Yeah.
Um, for me, I guess I spent most of my time as a single mom. Um, yeah. Prior to marrying my husband, I was, like I said, a single mom, and I, I guess I never really looked at myself as a business owner. I come from a background where, hey, everybody has a gift in their hands, and we just made it work. We hustled, as some people would call it, and that's really what I did. I'm a singer. I went to school to learn how to do nails at some point because that helped pay the bills. And those things were things that I just enjoyed doing. And I heard a wise person once say that when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. So I've never really looked at it as really like a job or or a business or anything. These are just things that I've enjoyed doing. And praise God, they allowed a lot of times for me to pay bills. They allowed, for me to be able to do some of the wonderful things with my kids as a single mom. There've been so many times that they would just, they say, "Mommy, buy me this. Mommy, buy me that." And I'm just grateful that those gifts, those talents, allowed me to do the things that I wanted to do with my kids. So, like I said, I am now married. Been married for 8 years, and like I said, just enjoying life.
Emily?
Awesome.
Oh, who up? Go ahead, Shaker.
No. Hey guys, good evening. My name is Maya McMillan. Everybody call my real name is Ma Shanka, but I've given myself a new name. I'll go by Maya. I am an absolute natural born entrepreneur. I eat, sleep, and drink entrepreneurship. You can catch me basically building revenue. I believe in passion plus purpose equals prosperity. I have 2 beautiful children and a number of other children that everybody think belongs to me, but I really only birthed 2. You can always find me with a kid in the back seat. I've been like that all my life. I believe that endless possibilities are found inside of each person, and I just believe it takes us to tap inside of whatever
Mhm.
that is.
Mhm.
Being an entrepreneur for me was a huge step, but I own it. So no one can ever take this away from me. So much. I lost so many things in this world, guys. So many things in this world. But
Mhm.
one thing I'll never lose is my heart and my passion. See, that's something
Mhm.
that once I tapped into my passion and my purpose, I ain't even worried about anybody else. So that's just kind of where I am. And it was like my passion and my purpose that helped me be stronger as a single mother. Actually, the birth of my son allowed me to press reset. I went through a horrible
Mhm.
childhood, so being able to press reset is amazing. So he gave me that strength to like keep going every time I wanted to give up. He was right there pushing me along the way. And then I gave birth to another child, same father, hallelujah, but it wasn't like all over the place, but not that that matters. But um and we just didn't work out. We grew up together. We were together almost 15 years, and then we just grew apart. My thirst was just change, and he stayed this constant. I wanted change, and he was constant. So I grew away from what was constant, what we were familiar with, and I made a decision to step away, no matter come hell or high water. I made a decision to stand in the gap. No excuses for my kids. I'm telling you, what they want, they have. What they need, they have. And what they don't have, I'm gonna go get it. And that's not just for them, that's for any child that's around. So we're not allowed to make excuses in this home, whether there's a father there or not. um and he has come around. He's grown now. He's doing a whole lot better with them, and that took, I guess, life. I mean, that took a lot for him to grow up and actually realize, hey, it's no more us. And then I had to find me, y'all. So I know this has nothing to do with what we're going through, but I'm good at what I do. Good at making revenue, good at making money, but I lost me in the midst of the process. So now I'm like, I so love this girl So now that I love her, I'm trying to take the steps on dating. Can y'all believe that? I'm finally taking the steps on dating. And if you really know me, if you don't know me, Emily, if you don't know me, Linnell, let me see why I don't know. Stacey, I kind of figured like I know you a little bit, but if you know me, like this is a huge step for me. So I'm trying. I did not give my credentials, but I'm actually a licensed mental health counselor in the state of North Carolina. And I run a youth enrichment lab called Purpose Learning Lab. It's a nonprofit organization. If you're looking for a place to give, we need your help. I actually opened up a place where students can actually come during the midst of COVID. So many parents were so upset and so stressed and didn't have a place to go. So I created a safe place where youth can come and absolutely soar and get back on track with their education. Our foundation of our program is STEM, mental health, counseling. So basically we provide an umbrella of services for youth, children, and families to keep them safe and catapult them into their true success. Guess what, guys? I just graduated from Cornell University. So guess what? I am a certified, even though I am a natural born entrepreneurship, I'm actually certified now. So that makes that I'm on first class now with entrepreneurship. So I'm excited about this thing, guys. So
it's a blessing, my Shanka. It's a blessing.
Yes.
It is.
Wow.
I'm trying to soak in it. I'm trying to soak in it. But let me tell you the blessing. I'm going to be able to place entrepreneurship in the hearts of youth. It's a program I'm running called Finding Purpose in Entrepreneurship, absolutely free every Monday from 10 to 12 at our organization, or you can tap in through Zoom. But we are excited about showing youth who are 5 and 6 and 7 and 8, young and planting that seed.
That's right.
I didn't have that. I had to learn how to do it. I don't know how I learned this, y'all. It was Jesus that helped me get through this. But
I just bought a book from a 4-year-old. She's an author.
Amazing.
That's awesome.
It's amazing. So we have an ebook, and then we also have a self-esteem ebook because a lot of people don't believe in taking that huge step. So thank you guys. That's enough about me. So I told you about my kids. I'm a counselor. I own a youth enrichment lab, and I own the Empress Haven. That is the name of my mental health facility. It's called the Empress Haven. I host wellness retreats. So if you ever need a reason to get away, come find me. Thank you guys so much.
You ain't going nowhere. Yeah, like you going somewhere. You came in and you left out. Stay in. Emily Linnell.
I'm muting, talking to Zion, telling him to get me something.
Wow, it is so good. It's such a gift to be here with you all. I feel really blessed in this moment just to share the space. So I'm Emily. I'm 36. I have a almost 14-year-old son.
Wow.
So I had Craig when I was 22, and I've been the solo parent the entire time. I've had a support network. I've had my parents, so I live close to home where I grew up, and I've stayed in this area, Durham, for the community that I have here. I have found that has made our life rich, and it has also been the support that I needed to grow in my entrepreneurial journey. So I've been an entrepreneur for 10 years. I have owned a hair salon. I've owned a yoga studio, and now I have an online coaching business.
Okay.
And so I recalled when Stacey, when you were sharing, and I've been following your journey, when you've been sharing about opening up the shop, I remember it. I remember the brick and mortar journey, and it was not long ago. At one point I had 2 brick and mortars. I had a team of teachers that I was training and certifying and mentoring at my yoga studio. I had my salon clients. I'm the only parent. It was so much. There were 3 different rents each month, team, payroll, processing fees for payment systems. There was a construction loan. There was, I think at one point it was like $12,000 to $15,000 worth of monthly overhead that I carried myself. And we had, the business had like the revenue to support that, but I was so burned out. what I love about the entrepreneurial journey and business, especially, is it is the greatest personal growth journey you can embark on if you choose that. We can even be parents on autopilot. We can be on default. We can be on autopilot. Your child will survive.
Mm-hmm.
They may not thrive, but what I found with business is if you autopilot and default your business, you'll hit that wall really quickly and it won't survive, it won't thrive. So we've got to grow ourselves in order to grow our business. And anything I've ever loved and done, I've gone like all the way in. I love doing hair. I was the best stylist at the fancy salon I worked at, and then I opened up my own salon. I loved yoga. I did thousands of hours of training. I traveled the world with my teacher. I became one of his assistants. I opened up a studio. I started training teachers. So it was like, go all in with what I pursue that I love, that I find my passion and purpose in. And now it's this with the coaching business. And so I'm a coach for coaches. I coach entrepreneurs. I work with folks that really want to create a business that's rooted in their soul and in their purpose and in their vision and their mission to serve the world and to generate healing and collective unity. And so how do I make income that also supports the impact that I want to make? So that's the type of coaching that I.
Oh, wow. That's awesome.
That's powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's just, there's so many gems being shared here tonight. And I just want us to like zoom up and look at not only, it's funny, Sherry, you said that you know a lot of single moms, but they're all entrepreneurs. I wonder why, because we're all so strong and wise and brave and driven.
Yeah.
Says something.
I feel like we've been through enough, turmoil in our life where there's no choice to turn back. I remember when an old soul told me I wanted to give up, and the giving up point, she was just like, you got to remember what you need to tie a knot for. I'm like, what? I'm really ready to give up. I don't feel like tie, she was like, tie a knot and keep pulling. She said, I know you're at the end of the rope, but just tie a knot, baby. Whatever you do, keep tying that knot, because God is going to come through on the other side. She said, I lived long enough. You ain't lived long enough to see God come on. I was just like, well, dang, I was really going through. So that really wasn't helping. But when I got older,
Shanka,
I understood it.
I don't want to cut you off, but I want Linnell to introduce herself, and then we'll get into it, okay? Okay.
Listen, Maya just said, I was like, Lord, we about to have a whole moment, honey. We about to have a whole moment. Because I had a whole moment earlier today as this single mom entrepreneur moment. I had a whole moment today, and God spoke in my ear, and he was like, if you just get out of bed every day and you put one foot in front of the other, I promise you, like my promises are what they are. My promises are what they are. If you put one foot in front of the other, I will allow and place the foundation in front of you every single day to make sure that you get to where you need to get. So when Maya started talking, I was like, Lord, listen, that was a whole moment. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. Okay. So my name is Linnell. So in 2004, September 2004, I started a nonprofit organization by the name of Oasis Foundation of NC. And I also had a sister organization, Oasis Outreach Incorporated, Oasis Foundation of NC. They're sister organizations. They work collectively, and they work collectively to serve children and families who are at risk and underprivileged. And we work with academic enrichment programs, affordable housing, and workforce development programs. And so we've been doing that. So primarily, though, our programs consist of the academic enrichment piece. And so we do before and after school programs and summer camps and things of that nature. That's primarily what we focus on, although we have had the programs to do the other things. And then a few years ago, I started the Constant Group. And the Constant Group focuses on what's the word I'm looking for? I'm sorry. It works with existing and startup nonprofit organizations. And so we help organizations who are either existing or they're getting started or whatever the case may be. And um, we do everything from grant research and grant writing and organizing documents um, and just strategic planning and professional development and just all of that. So that's kind of what we do. We hit 17 years. Oasis
Amen.
hit 17 years in September. So we have been doing programs in Raleigh, Rocky Mount, Charlotte, for an extended period of time. My son is 7. He's 7. So I got a late start. I got a late start. He's 7. So he is literally like, mommy. Like, I have a whole son who is literally like, no, I'm gonna sleep in the room with you tonight. I'm like, Jesus. I'm still trying to figure out how to get my son in his own room. But I have a whole business that's been around for 17 years. So
Oh, wow.
I love it. I am truly, I think when Maya was talking, I was truly connected because I was really just kind of connected to the concept of it's been a long it's purpose driven. You know what I mean? Like there's many times where I'm like, listen, I can go build boxes, like real talk. Like I'm so over it sometimes. It is so incredibly stressful and overwhelming. I can really go find a way to build boxes for a living. How much y'all paying to do this? And literally I have these moments, whether it's a student or a child or family or whatever the case may be. And it's just reminded that that's not why you're here. That's not why you're here. That's not why this organization is here. So that's why I'm here, to be a part of Thursday Love and my line sister, and to be able to talk about, like, it is a lot. It is a lot to carry on our shoulders, but here we are and we're doing it. And it is purpose driven work. It is purpose driven work. So here we are.
I thank y'all for all y'all sharing just a little bit of the insight of what you all are doing. For those who are up here and they know, I did ask Pastor Debbie and Clarice. No, they're not single, but they were single at one time. Pastor Debbie has a tremendous testimony to me, from being married to being a widower, to being single and to being married again. But she has a women's ministry as well. And so this is what she focuses on. To me, Reese has been, she was single, but now she's married as well. But to me, she's her own entrepreneur because she's the brand. She is the brand. She sings, she plays, and she acts. She didn't add that up there. She's an actress.
She
as
didn't
well.
say that.
She didn't say that. She acts as well. She's in a play as we speak that is going to Maryland, DC area. So I don't, But the reason why I brought everybody up here, I love everybody's testimony. And the thing is, y'all have so much richness and so much to tell and so much to share. Because I know Shanka will take over and take this whole segment and make it work. I know Shanka. And I love her for that. Because there's a lot to share. And it's hard to narrow it down in like 60 minutes or 45 minutes, especially when you have 6 powerful or strong women up here. Y'all stated earlier that y'all have been doing this for years. Stacy said earlier, I've known since I was 15. Is that everybody's testimony up here? I knew that I was going to be an entrepreneur.
No.
Is it okay? So let me ask you this: Is it? Do you feel like it's a gift that was already there early, Stacy, for those who started early, or for those it's something that grew and it came about?
Sorry.
I'm gonna keep it short, but I think it was always inside of me. It was a seed that was actually inside of me, but I had to discover I didn't like people telling me no. So it was when I'm good at what I do. I could work at Burger King or, like I'm gonna be honest with you. I can handle a task, okay, when it's done. What I can't handle is when people try to tell me what to do, and I just don't like that. I just don't like when people have to. I had to find a career where I just didn't have to deal with that. So it was actually an accident that caused me to open up my own business and my son. I had him in a daycare that I didn't really prefer, and I had to start from scratch. I would not recommend that on anyone. I would at least try to have an increment on what you're going to try to do in life, because I started from scratch. I actually went after money. I was going to be this bomb doctor, this bomb nurse, until I went to the VA and turned them patients over and found out that wasn't my passion. So I think I had to discover what that was, and ministry helped me find my passion. Being involved in church, being trusted to be a leader when I didn't even know what I was doing. I was able to see that gift. I think it was planted and it was there, but I was able to see it sprouting and then I just went with it full hand when someone told me what to do.
Stace, you said earlier, you said you got it early.
It's like, I think mine came early. I'm the second oldest of three sisters, and so in a house full of girls. There's a little bit of bossiness, but it was I didn't understand it. My mom, nobody really could grasp it, and I just thought I'm just being myself. We tried to have a singing group, my sisters and and I wanted to be the lead singer. I can't sing, but I'm like, but I know how to do this. Like, let's just, pull it all together,
You can sing.
I can, so I honestly can sing background. My older sister and my sister after me, they can blow. But I was like a background singer. My mom could sing. And I was just like I had a takeover spirit. And so, but as a kid, I didn't recognize that as, being an entrepreneur. But I share this story about how there were times when my mom would put me on punishment. I lived in my room. So putting me on punishment and sending to my room was nothing. Taking my Walkman, CD player, boombox. Now I have nothing to do. So I started to draw, and I drew this house. And in this house, there were 3 floors, and every floor had multiple businesses, and I drew stick people. I didn't know what I was doing. I'm just drawing a picture because I'm bored. I don't have my music. I don't have anything, but I'm living out this fantasy of all of this, a hair salon, a bakery, all of this stuff in this 3-story house. Turned 15. I'm working at a job, Winn-Dixie in Roxborough, North Carolina. And people are coming through and they're grocery shopping, and it's a nice day. And I'm like, the owner of Winn-Dixie is probably on an island somewhere sipping pina coladas, and I'm 15 working, and I'm going to grow up and work for somebody my whole life. And then that's going to be it. And that was my red rubber ball moment. It was in that moment that I just knew. I was like, yeah, I think I want to own my business. What I wanted to do, I had no idea, but that was my thing. So fast forward 25 years later, about maybe 5 or 6 years ago, the Lord reminded me of that time my mom punished me and all the businesses that I drew in a house. So here I am, this temple, and these businesses that have come out of me. And I'm just like, that gives me complete satisfaction. Like, people are becoming entrepreneurs now because of the pandemic, crises and things like that. But for me, I just knew that I knew that I knew. So no matter what I'm faced with, I'm like, Lord, this is what you gave me when I was a kid. I knew nothing about being a business owner as a kid. So wherever it takes me, that's the path that I'm on. So that was it for me.
Okay. So that's what I was going to get to. Entrepreneurship has kind of boomed. It has exploded since this pandemic. Everybody wants to be an entrepreneur. Can everybody be an entrepreneur?
No.
I mean, I don't want to be, but can everybody be an entrepreneur?
I mean, you can definitely do what you want, do what your heart's desire. But I think the real question is, can you thrive at being an entrepreneur and create revenue? And then once you create revenue, are you able to save? Are you able to invest?
Maintain.
Are you able to maintain and take care of your bills? Do you actually have the knowledge of an investor, I think it's just a lot. You can, but can you be
can you be prosperous? Can you
sustain and scale?
I've always felt like there was a difference between an entrepreneur and a business owner. And
Yeah.
people will often say, like, what, well, how is that different? I'm like, there's absolute difference. You can start a business. Starting a business is literally about, I can go out here and I can get my EIN and I can get my get my EIN, my tax ID, and I have an idea and I have a concept and I can get a business started. But being an entrepreneur is, to me, a completely different concept. Like, we're talking about literally starting and thriving and growing a business. Like, this is something completely different. So to me, those are two completely different things. I had not only did I have no desire, I have no thought about being an entrepreneur when I got started. Like, my background was in mental health and criminal justice, and I wanted to be an attorney and I wanted to work with at-risk youth and that kind of thing. I had no desire. I wanted to make sure that my check was coming in every 2 weeks, no questions asked. I had no desire to do this. When I say no desire, I mean no desire at all. I wanted to make sure that my check was coming through. So, and there was some things that was happening in my life around my family and just some things personally. And I was like, listen, I had to have a one-on-one, like a come to Jesus meeting. And I was like, Lord, if you want me to do something different, then I need you to show me. And he was like, I'm showing you. Like, I'm showing you. I want you to do something different. But I was not comfortable with it. I was not comfortable because you got to understand, I'm the oldest of 8. My mother was a single parent. We were born and raised in Brooklyn, New York. So poverty was our thing, right? So I was like, I'm not interested in taking the risk of being an entrepreneur. I need to make sure that check coming through. I had no desire to be an entrepreneur at all. And then things started to happen in my life, and entrepreneurship started to become a thing. It started to kind of creep up in my brain, and it started to become a thing. And so I stepped into it, and I started a business, and I still worked my full-time job for maybe 2-3 years, and I had already started my business in maybe 2-3 years. And I started applying for grants and this kind of, because again, my main business is a nonprofit. I started applying for grants. I had grants approved. I had over $1 million of grants approved, and I still worked my full-time job because I was so frightened. I was still so like, I have to have a check every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks, I have to. I was frightened. I was like, and so literally things started to shift. Honestly, in all transparency, the way they're shifting now. I have something going on right now. Things are shifting right now. And I'm like, Lord, I've been through this before. So I already know what you're doing. I already know what you're doing. I already know. Because I am very I have a tendency to get very comfortable where I am. And so, because I know how things work, and in that time, I was very, very comfortable. But no, entrepreneurship and being a business owner, those are two completely different things. They're two completely different things, and you have to be in a whole different mental space to be able to take all of the responsibilities, the risk, the liabilities, all that comes with it.
Right.
You have to be ready for that. I've had people who come to me with like, listen, I want to start a nonprofit and I'm gonna get these grants and I'm just gonna get this, I'm gonna do this salary, and I'm like, yeah, it don't work like that. If it worked like that, everybody would be an entrepreneur, right? Like, everybody would step off and just get there and get their the benefits of what you think it believes to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
And that's not it. That's not it.
Emily, you were about to say something as well?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna, to Linnell's point as well, there is a difference between the two. And I love the description. An entrepreneur is one who is always creating and planning, almost like they're always scheming. Like, we're always scheming.
Always.
We're always like up to something. We're always creating something. We're always like looking for the next thing. And entrepreneurs are really bad about having hobbies, because we get a hobby, we like something, then we like monetize it. We make a business out of it.
Exactly. That's an entrepreneur.
A business owner is, takes those risks, has the responsibilities, stays in the game a little bit longer, works delegation within their business, really grows and scales, is committed. An employee is someone who works for the business and wants that paycheck. A manager is someone who can delegate other responsibilities. So there's different hats that play into this. And
I'm the manager.
Yeah, you're a great manager too, right? Like, we want you to be our manager. And I think there's like, the last thing I'll say is just, I think the entrepreneurial spirit is within all of us, and I mean like every human being, in the aspect of creation. We are all creators. We are all divine beings, and God himself, the divine itself, is the energy of creation. And we are manifestations of that. And so I believe that core of creation, is that gift is within all of us. And can everyone be an entrepreneur? Maybe, if you want to tap into that and roll with it. But can everyone sustain, be prosperous, be a business owner? You got to do the work. You got to do the work for that. You
got to put it in.
Can everybody be an entrepreneur? Everybody has the potential to be an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
But are you willing to put in the work?
That's right.
There you go.
Because entrepreneur is really what an entrepreneur really is. An entrepreneur is a visionary. The entrepreneur can walk into an empty building and see 5 or 6 things going on at one time.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So can everybody be it? Yeah, but is everybody willing to step out on faith, have that faith? Because the Bible says that faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. You know what I'm saying? So you have to walk into an empty building and see that hoped for. You know, wow. Well, I see this is over here, this is over here. And so most people are not willing to step out on faith. They're not willing to put forth the work. Some people just prefer to work somebody else's vision. And those are usually the workers. You know what I'm saying? So, and on the flip side of that, everybody's not meant to lead either. You know what I'm saying? So there's specific people who are willing to lead and know how to treat people in the process of leading. Because you can't be nasty and expect to be a efficient entrepreneur. You're just gonna be preneuring by yourself. You know what I'm saying? There's somebody gonna be willing to work your vision. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I consider a entrepreneur is a visionary, and they have the plan for the vision. You know, the Bible says, "Write the vision to make it plain." You know, so that's what I consider a entrepreneur.
I think as an entrepreneur, we have to know how to pivot. Like you have to know when and how to pivot, right? So I think that's the difference between an entrepreneur and a business owner. When you have an idea and you have a vision and that kind of thing, it's like, well, I want to do this. Okay, that sounds great. And we can put that together and we can make that and we can figure that out. But what happens when the pandemic hits? And now all of a sudden your vision and your idea no longer works because of what we're doing right now, right? So an entrepreneur is like, okay, I need to figure out, okay, my business plan didn't match the pandemic. So now what? Do I just shut it all the way down or do I pivot? And I think that's the concept for me personally of an entrepreneur. Like we got to figure out, because we still got to feed these kids. My son's 7, he loves to eat. and he bougie. My son's 7. He like crab legs and curry chicken and mama don't cook. I don't know how to cook. So like we're figuring out this kind of stuff. But how do we figure out how to maintain what we're doing? But how do we figure out how to pivot? That's to me the concept of an entrepreneur, right? And versus a business owner is like, okay, this is what we do. Do you know how to shift so that the program, the project, the business, the organization, like how do we continue to do what we're doing? How do we continue to serve who we're serving? How do we continue to do that?
If you don't know how to pivot, you're going to be in a tough spot. Like you're going to be in a really, really tough spot.
Stacey, you were about to say something as well.
I was just going to piggyback off of what Pastor TJ was saying. I think sometimes when you have people who, this is one of the things I absolutely love about you, Sherry, is that you absolutely not. As much as I try to talk you into, I'm like, Sherry, you can actually do this on your own. You could actually, start a business and you can do this and this. There are some people who will just not become business owners, who just will not become entrepreneurs. And I think one of the things that people who do take that leap and that risk to become an entrepreneur or to be a business owner, I have the same amount of respect for you, that those who want to stay, traditional jobs, continue to, work the traditional jobs, do your 30 years and retire. I have the same amount of respect for you as I do somebody who takes a risk, because I think sometimes entrepreneurs and business owners, we take on this mindset like, yeah, look at me, I'm so awesome because I jumped out here and started a business. Yeah, you're great, but all of the risk and all of the things and so I think sometimes just maintaining, for me, a whole lot of humility, because I have to remember that I have to go twice as hard for what I'm trying to accomplish, because if I don't get out here and sell this or make this happen or close this deal, my lights might get turned off. Whereas, you're going to work 40 hours, you got a guaranteed check. There is never, I don't say never, but I think entrepreneurs, business owners, we work a little harder to make it happen. So there's a huge amount of respect that I have for people who don't take this risk, who still continue that, traditional lifestyle. Like, so much respect, because I'm like, some days I'm in here like, I said it today. Today's gonna be the day I'm going back to get a job. Every single day, I'm just like, you know what? No, you know what? I actually, I'm gonna go and just get a paycheck because it's guaranteed money, and I'm good. And then I remember that I'm bad to the bones, and everything that God
you gonna be
has.
miserable going back.
It'll never work for anyone else.
Here's the thing that we have to remember, and this has always been my mindset, and I have to be so careful not to talk people off their jobs, because I have done it before. I feel like this: if you can maintain $1 million budgets, if you can maintain $1 million grants, if you can do all of these things for your job, how much more can you do for yourself? And I'm just determined to not give a job everything that I've got. I'm not going to give them all my goods. I'm like, wait a minute. If I can be this creative for a job and make $18, $19, $20 an hour or $22 an hour, I can do this myself and get more. You know what I'm saying? And not be miserable doing it. So that's all I have.
Okay, I'm gonna kind of shift real quick, and I'm pivoting. Because our time is running out. I know Pastor Debbie and Clarice, they have to eventually go. But I want to shift here to talk about parenthood, motherhood here. So Pastor Debbie, when you were in single and you were raising your babies, I know your babies. I love your babies.
Oh, speaking
They
of,
love you too.
I forgot her.
We missed it.
What's that show?
Wheel
of Fortune.
That's it. Wheel of Fortune.
Vanetta was on there.
Yeah. So with all of this ministry, entrepreneurs, your brand, because each one of you all have a brand. And honestly, the way this is the way I look at it. Your brand is like your baby. You know what I'm saying? You birthed it, you're nourishing it, you're feeding it, you're sacrificing for it. How does it feel as a mother trying to pour into something that is like a child, but you actually have your physical child here? So Pastor Debbie, can you just give us some insight how you feel about, as being when you were a single mother, how did that happen for you? And then Clarice.
And in the process of that, what kind of contention did you have? Right. Did the child ever feel like they was competing against that other baby, the business.
You took the words out of my mouth.
Oh, there we go. All right, there we go. Good. I missed it.
Because the fact of the matter is, raising, and training my children in the midst of trying my best to rock all three babies at the same time, ministry and my children. I began business in ministry because it was kind of like I had to look in and see where I fit in ministry and what can I do, because my passion for life in itself was just so major that I wanted to find the pieces that fit the entrepreneurship in me. So with my children, I learned and I told you guys I'm 54. But when I was raising my children, I was kind of backwards because I didn't allow myself to fully commit to me, because it was about my children. It was about me not making the mistakes that were made when I was growing up. It was me not allowing, and my daughter fusses about this all the time, I didn't allow her to look at 106 in Park and BET because I know what I did when I did that. I had to mature and grow as raising them. And then I had to understand that they didn't ask for this. So I had to make time for them. Yeah. So when church would be calling and ministry would be calling and women in need are calling me, I had to make really good decisions and I had to pray a lot because my children were very understanding. But that's what they told me, Shanka. They were, oh, mommy, I understand. Y'all, I didn't know until my children got grown that my business sense, my passion for ministry, it affected my kids. It messed them up. They were always with me. They couldn't go like Pastor and Lady Sherry are doing with their children in track. They didn't get the extracurricular activities in school because I was so focused. And so what I wanted to say to you guys on today is, I thank God that you have the passion. I thank God that you're entrepreneurs. As moms, give them a break. Let's give them a break because a lot of times, y'all, we miss it. My daughter was upset with me because I didn't tell her that big girls with big thighs and their legs rubbed together, that they chafe. I didn't know. I wasn't a big girl when I was growing up, but I knew that Sister Lightbulb Sister had her daughter over there and they had issues.
Right.
I learned the hard way that being an entrepreneur, wanting to work and grind and leave a legacy that my children will rise up and call me blessed, that's important. But it's also important that I break down the time schedule and I make time for everybody. And Lady Sherry, that was the biggest, the largest, the hugest mistake. And I don't call it a mistake because I'm going to help y'all. So if I can help somebody, it's not a mistake. It was a trial error that my children suffered because my mindset was, I'm going to make it happen for them. And you can do both. You can love them and lead them and train them and teach them as well as provide for them. And our focus has to be God first.
Right.
Then we come with our family. But if we do that way, the question was, how do you do it as a single parent? Well, my daughter is 33 and my son is 27. So I thank God that they're grown. But the way I did it as a single
parent. But Netta is still 15.
But Netta is 33. She's helpful. She having a fit. Y'all know that's her baby. But Netta is 33. But they learned from my mistakes. And now what we do is with my business, Hagar's Ministry, we send upscale clothes to the women, to churches in Africa. The churches are loaded and packed. But there was a young lady that was in the church praising God, and she had a t-shirt on that said BITCH. Well, let's take it back to the streets. Now, y'all know how we act when we get called out of our name. This woman was in church dancing, praising God, and she didn't care what she had on because all she wanted was deliverance. Well, the Lord spoke to me and said, you can do something about this. So now I solicit women from anywhere and everywhere. Let's not give trash. Let's not give rags. Give that good stuff that's in your closet that you sacrifice and you're going to let go of to help somebody else. At the same time that I'm an entrepreneur, it's still ministry. It's still making sure that we as women look good, feel good, smell good, that we are good because God made us good. It is still us being excited about being able to make money to give back into the community. And it doesn't matter if we can't go to Liberia, but if we give $20 to the GoFundMe, then we're going because we're helping them get there.
Yeah, that's right.
That's the wisdom that I want to leave with you before I go to work, is that we have to remember that even with our responsibilities in business, even in our responsibilities as an entrepreneur or in ministry, when we're moms, y'all, it's a sacrificial job. We have to sacrifice. But then we don't want them to feel like, oh, y'all made us sacrifice. You know what I mean? So that's what I did. And knowledge is power now. I can look back and see, however the pastor raised their child, that's how we raised ours. If Joshua got in trouble, Vanetta got in trouble. That wasn't fair. No, but I was frustrated and I was tired because I was preaching and working and doing my business. And our children don't need to suffer because we're grinding. That's all I wanted to say. I love y'all.
Love you.
Go make that purpose.
Hallelujah. Thank y'all so much.
Thank you, Pastor David, for being up here.
Yes, ma'am.
Reese, you as well, because I know you have to get back to practice or rehearsal. Yeah. How was the transition for you from being a single parent and out there doing ministry? You're out there because see, you don't just do ministry. She also goes to jazz clubs. I love her when she sings jazz, blues, weddings, you name it. You know what I'm saying? As well as and now you're acting, you're in plays. You know what I'm saying? How is all that when you have 3 babies with you, and they're growing and they're matriculating? How did you handle that?
Well, I will say when they were younger, when I say younger, I mean like my oldest at the time was 7. Carrington and Josh were babies when I decided that I was going to do nails from home. So I actually started. I was a business owner. Actually, before I had my oldest child, I had a salon with 2 other partners, and then when I became a mom to my oldest child, I decided to come out of the shop. Well, I actually didn't do nails for a few years, but I was thinking, I was like, hey, I have this gift. I went to school, and I mean, well, why not make money while I'm at home? Because my son was watching SpongeBob and Blue's Clues, and I'm like, okay, I need to do something. So for me, I would put him, I turn the TV on for him, and he was fine. Then we, move on a little further. I had my last 2 babies, Carrington and Joshua. And again, I'm still at home doing nails. It was much easier then because I could always cut the TV on or give them, one at the time, I think at the time they both had like little tablets and stuff. So I could give them something to keep them busy while I worked. And that worked for years. But fast forward, now they're older. They're 16 and 15. My oldest boy actually lives out with my parents now, but now they're in activities. And so a lot of what I run into now, because I still do nails, I still have a small clientele. Thank God for that. But now it's like, Mom, I need you to take me here. I need you to take me there. And I have to say, well, baby, I'm working this evening. So that has created, a couple of challenges, I guess. Now with me still trying to do nails, and as Sherry said, I am working in a play right now, and then if I'm not doing this, sometimes I am singing with the bands, and I'm also minister music, so I also have a praise team that I work with as well. So I just stay busy. Like I said earlier, I look at it. I look at what I do as really not. I mean, honestly, I love what I do, so I don't feel like I'm working a day. Because everything I do, I enjoy. I am going to say this. I wanted to say this earlier whenever Stacy was talking about, the whole entrepreneurship being something that you learned at an early age. For me, I feel like I am the product of prophecy. And I say that because my grandmother shared with me and many of my cousins at a young age how when she worked in the field, how God spoke to her and told her that her children and her children's children will all have a gift of their hands. And so I just strongly believe that I am a product of prophecy, what God spoke to her. With that being said, down the line, if you just look through my you can start with my uncles. Everybody has a gift. Everybody in my family has a gift. They either play, like I said, they do something with their hands. And so like I said, I don't feel like I don't look at it as work because it's all something that I enjoy doing. Did my kids suffer a little bit? I have to agree with Pastor Debbie. Yeah, they did, because there were a lot of things that they weren't able to do because I was a single mom. Now, granted, I have my support system, which was always mama and daddy. So if I couldn't take them somewhere and I really wanted them to be there, I knew how to pick up the phone and say, Mom, Daddy, I need y'all to take the kids here, take the kids there. But then also that meant that I had to miss out on a lot of things that they were a part of. And honestly, I look back on that with my oldest child, and it's the woulda, coulda, shouldas. I wish I had, because a lot of things I missed out on because I was trying to make a better life for my kids as a single mom. And that is something that I think we run into, especially, like I said, being single parents. Do you sacrifice, not making money, and you do this, and risk something, possibly getting cut off or not having gas or whatever. So there was a lot of times that I had to make the hard decision to stay back and let the kids go with grandma or grandpa, But all is well. My kids, they've seen me work, so they're at the age now where they're also taking on, again, what God spoke to grandma. I have well, all three of my kids play an instrument. My son actually plays, and he works for the church, so he plays. And then my daughter, she's babysitting, and and then my father, who well, it's a family business, but all the the boys work with my dad. So yeah, so like I said, we're just making it work.
I appreciate it. So time is drawing near, and I know a lot of us have a lot to say, but I want to hit on two more things. If someone can chime in about balance, how do you balance it all? And then we're gonna end on we're gonna talk a little bit about dating. You can just give me a taste of dating, and then that could be a whole thing. Because Shaka said she was dating.
Real quick. I'm sorry. I don't want to interrupt, but I am gonna go ahead and hop off.
Okay.
Pastor Bridges, Lady Bridges, I just want to thank y'all again. Ladies, you guys are amazing. I'm sitting here listening. I was like, oh my God, such strong women. I wish you guys the best. I'm praying for your prosperity. I'm gonna hop off, so maybe I can get on this play for about an hour or so.
Cool.
And get on pool and do my thing. But I love you all. Thank you for this opportunity. And I'm gonna hop off. Okay.
All right. Thank you. I think I'll chime in on balance because I struggled with that. But honestly, my kids actually can do what they want. If they come to me with an idea, if they come to me with an idea, I kind of go with what they want to do. I try to make sure I'm there. I try to make sure that they can make the choices. It was hard at first because I was at every service, guys. I know this is not about church, but I was just at every event that they had that I kind of saw my son. I'm just like, hey, he's going to be here his whole life. Is he going to be able to do anything else? I want to see him. I want him to tap in, and I want him to know an array of things and not just one thing. Because when life hits you, it hits you hard. Yeah. And I wanted to be able to put tools inside of his chest, inside of their belt, what they could use again. And he knows God well. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of that. I've always made that seed. I deposited that seed a long time ago. But he also knows things about history and science and different things because life is going to hit him one day, and I'm gonna need him to pull out some tools to be able to help him, as well as my girl, my daughter, my baby girl. I'm kind of like pouring a lot into her, and it's kind of seeing her grow into womanhood. So I don't want to miss it. So that balance is very important. I value vacationing. So when we vacate, we have like device free vacations. So I don't balance well when I'm an entrepreneur because if I have my laptop, I'm getting on it. So I actually have to leave my laptop, and I actually have a separate phone that doesn't have any of my accounts in it. So it's kind of boring without it, but I actually do it. So balance is the kind of thing that I struggle with for years. Now I actually calendar it in on my calendar. So I calendar me in. I never calendared me in. Do you know I'm in there now? So it's like time for me, which I really, really love. So that balance is one of those things that can knock you off and knock you down. My son helped me out too because he people don't believe he talks, but he really does. But he said something to me one day that really cut my heart. And he said, "You always recognize all the things I don't do. When are you going to recognize the things that I do do?"
Mm.
And I was like, "Oh, that is right." Because when he
No.
comes in, what am I doing? I'm fussing. I'm like, "Go do this, go do that, go do that." Not once did I say thank you for taking out the trash. Not once did I say thank you for being
Right.
an honor roll student since kindergarten. You know, some of the things that it really opened up my eyes. So now I'm like, look, I'm so glad you took out the trash. Don't forget to do the rest of your stuff. So I had to kind of, balance it down. But that balance thing, when they show you yourself, you really don't like it. So, and you begin to change. So I begin to ask them some of the things that I could do to help us gain balance in this house. And I also need them for balance. You understand? Because when you create, kids, sometimes they get what they want. They don't have the balance. And then that can throw you off because you're always trying to make sure it's them, 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 them. So now I'm loving me. So they know it's time to love on me on Friday. Don't bother me. So balance is important.
Anybody else want to chime in on balance?
I mean, Lynell, I mean, Emily, I mean, Stacy.
Yeah, so I will say a balance has always been a struggle for me. Like even before I had my son, balance was a struggle for me. My son is now 7 and now he is like, mommy, like what we gonna do for allowance? And I'm like, allowance? Like what are you talking about? Like it's like he's like, I took the trash out. Like I got the mail out the mailbox. I'm like, okay. Like so we're giving money for that. So but balance, but even besides that, balance has always been a struggle. And I literally had to get a mentor to help me um figure out, not to figure out, but to help me be aware of what balance needed to look like in my personal life, right? So we haven't even spoken about the dating piece. That's a whole nother conversation. But as it relates to my son and parenting, like I had to figure out, because what was happening with me is I would work um and trying to sustain the business and grow the business and do all these things during the week. And then on the weekends, I would just use my weekends to catch up, right? And so it was like, well, what about your son? Like, what about, he got these birthday parties and all these other things he wanted to go to and all these other things he wanted to do. And I didn't incorporate that. I didn't incorporate any of that. Then he starts wanting to have that's a whole nother conversation. But then he wants to have a conversation about having a little brother, little sister. Now that's a whole nother conversation. So we're not doing that, right? We're not doing that. So then you're like, yeah, let's talk about your balance. let's talk about these other things you want to do. Because this brother sister situation, we're not doing that.
Trying to make sure you balance out. You got two.
He was really trying to make sure I balanced out. And I was like, no, sir, we're not doing that. So it was challenging. It was challenging because you're working so hard to make sure he has the best life he can possibly have. And you're working so hard to make sure he doesn't have to live through the experiences you lived. Again, I'm the oldest of 8. We were homeless. We you know what I mean? We did all these things. And I want to make sure that he didn't experience those things.
Right.
But yet he is still not experiencing he's not living his best life either, because
Right.
I'm working so hard to
Mhm.
make sure that he has the best life. But yet he's lonely. There's not we're not going to all the birthday parties, and he's not living his best life and going to all the events and all the other things that were in place for him to go. So I had somebody in place. Once again, I had to identify. I had a professional mentor, but I had a personal mentor also. But I had
Mhm.
to recognize that how important that was, because I didn't think that identifying a mentor was even a thing. I didn't think that was a thing. And so I identified someone, and she was like, and she helped me really understand, what are you doing with your son this month? What do you have in place? What do you have in place this week? What do you have in place next week? What do you have in place this month? And it was literally like, what do you have in place to make sure that your life, your personal life, is in order?
Right.
Because you're working, it's like you're going like 100 miles an hour. Like, what do you have in place to make sure that the other things are in place? I would work and pass out in my bed. Like, I didn't have any of that. Like, I would literally pass out on my couch or pass out in my bed, literally with my shoes on,
Mm.
and just and wake up the next morning and do it all over again. And in my mind, I'm thinking, I'm creating the best life for my son. But my son is here. He's trying to live his best life right now.
Yeah.
He's trying to live his best life right now. And I'm not giving him that. So
I think that's honestly, it could be like a, I'm gonna say a fault, but I think it's just a thing
it
in us
is.
as mothers. We
Yeah.
just we want the best for our children. And I noticed a lot of years ago that, I was so busy and so focused. And I think this just it don't necessarily have to be an entrepreneur thing, but just as a mother, I just wanted the best for them. What I
Yeah.
did not get, I wanted to give them. And mine wasn't more
Right.
so materialistic things. It was more so the affection and being there. And so much, it's not that I didn't get it from my dad. I didn't get it from my mom, because she was working so much. She worked 2 jobs, and then she was also getting her undergrad degree, then she got
Right.
her master's degree, and so she was busy all week. And so I needed that mother time. And so I was so busy trying to compensate for that. But I
Yeah.
also had to realize that, um that just sometimes just being there, you do have to make that time. You have to write it out, say,
Yeah.
I'm going to schedule some time to be there for them. I'm going to do these little things here and there. I have to, because we're so busy trying to make sure we have a job, or we have stability, or we have money, trying to get the things they want and they desire. I have watched Shanka's life, and no, I have not seen all of it, but I know I have seen Shanka. I'm sorry, I can't call you Maya. I'm still on Shanka. So, I have literally seen Shanka go from nothing and literally take everything that she has and put it into everybody's children and hers. And literally
Yeah.
they have a want for nothing. You know what I'm saying? So to hear her sometimes say, well, because she's always going. And I'm like,
Yeah.
and to hear Zion to say, well, what am I doing right? You know, I'm like, because she's always pouring. And I think that's the thing, as a mother, we're always trying to pour to give them the best.
Yeah.
But I think sometimes it's very important for us to stop and ask them, what is their definition
And
of
to
the best
be,
for them?
yeah.
What do they think the best is? Because I think we're so busy trying to portray that vision, that we don't know what they want. What is it
Yeah.
they want? Because it could be totally different from what we're visioning.
Because
So, what's so interesting is my son has asked me here recently. So he's done everything. He's done basketball, football, tag football, tackle football, swimming, boxing, like all these. He's done everything, right? And then he said to me the other so now he's in baseball, right? He's in baseball, and so he's like, Mom, I'm an athlete, and I was like, obviously, you're an athlete. And so he asked me the other day. So my thought was, he expressed some interest in baseball. We got him in baseball, and so he goes to baseball practice. And he asked me the other day, so we pay for baseball. He's in baseball. It's after school. And he said to me the other day, well, when are you going to come to my baseball practice? And I was like, oh, God, nah, I feel awful. Like, you know what I mean? Because in my mind, I said, I just thought you wanted to just go to baseball. I just thought you wanted to like figure out baseball. But the fact that he wanted me to be there to watch him,
just to be there.
I was like, yeah, I need to figure something else. I need to figure something out.
And then when they get older, you'll have to watch out for this. See, my son, that's like my best friend. That's my ride or die, right? So I'm trying to get him to get a car because I'm tired of driving him around to all his, things. So I done signed him up for driver's ed. And he said, we talking about, so you gonna make me drive there by myself? I'm like, yeah, that's how it works. You get older and you drive by yourself. I'm gonna be at your game, right? I'm not coming to your practices anymore. Like that day is over. You understand? Like you are going to drive yourself there. So there'll be some points of time where, you'll gain that balance where he just went to his first dance to Riverside High School by himself. And I didn't go. And y'all know, like, I don't be playing about my kids, but to see him grow up and actually trust him. So that's another level of balance as your son begins to get older, but they want to see you. They want to see your face. They want to see when you turn around that you're catching their smile. And as a mental health counselor, let me tell you the most thing I hear. I mean, I have rich clients to poor clients. And what they're saying is, ask me, I have one that's fluent in playing the violin and what is it called? Not the keyboard. What do you play? The organ. And what she said, I thought, ask what you play, TJ. And what she said was, ask me, do I want to do this? I said, do you want to do it? She was like, I never wanted to do this. She said, my mom had a calendar that was made for me every day. And all I ever wanted was her to show up for me. And there was a nanny there, someone else there. And my mother never showed up. So she said her whole life, we're rich. She has a nice house. I mean, I go to her house and I counsel her all the time. And I feel like she has everything, but she feels like she has nothing. Right. So what I say to you is stepping into someone else's world as a mental health counselor has really taught me some things, and it has really opened up a lot. And whether we say balance, but really stepping inside their head. Because I talk to my son a lot. I'm like, listen, my son plays showcase baseball. Okay. It's very expensive. But I'm like, I'm sacrificing for you. So I need you to sacrifice for me. And he's like, I know, I hear it. So just trying to help them get to their best. What looks like my best and their best are two different things. And my son will tell me all day long, he's great at being a youth mentor, but he's like, I'm not going to be a teacher. So he'll tell me all day long what he's going to do. So I think seeing what my daughter is a natural, she is like totally different. I wanted to dress her and she came out wearing rain boots in the winter. Rain boots in the spring. So she's different. She's like her own, very unique. And she's going to tell you, I want my hair natural. She doesn't she doesn't believe in things that aren't authentic. So like just trying to see her and love her for that. You understand? That's hard for me too. Allowing her to tap into what's hers versus what's mine. And I'm watching her and holding her and cuddling her. I think that's the best part about, I'm scared too. I know you guys have went through that. I'm scared. But they have to soar. We got to let them clip the wings and soar. So I think the balance with them, letting them go with friends. You understand? Like Zaya, go ahead. Have fun. Zion, bye-bye. Me, hello. So just learning that balance of it's okay for us to all be in the same space, but then we need to come together so we don't lose that family aspect.
It is like three things. In the process of us building this life for our kids, we have to make sure we include ourselves in this life that we're trying to build for them. Because if you're spending all your time, because I'm a Pentecostal kid, so we was in church all the time. And one thing Sherry and I said was, especially when she came in church, because Shanka, and we was in church all the time. And one of the things we said was, we was in church all the time, but our kids won't, because we're going to teach our kids about Christ. That's hands down. And I don't have to be in the four walls to teach my child about Jesus. My job and my responsibility, or our job as parents, is to teach our children about Christ. It's not our pastor's job to do that. But we said that we're gonna make sure that there was a dance. They're gonna be there, and now they're in sports and stuff. They're gonna be there. You know what I'm saying? They're gonna get to enjoy, not
Life.
go crazy and do crazy stuff,
Right.
but they're gonna enjoy, see how life is outside the four
Right.
walls. Number two,
Right.
yeah, all our kids want is our time. Sherry had to
Right.
teach me that, you know, but all they want is our time.
Mhm.
And number three, there's nothing wrong with us actually sitting down and having a conversation with our children to say, hey, what it is, what do you want to do? You know what I'm saying? You know, because yes, we see things on two different levels, you know, and what we think might be great for them, they might be like, yeah, I don't want to take organ lessons. You know.
But so we're gonna close it out. And we just answer yes or no. Are we dating?
Emily said yes. Stacey said.
I'm like, I gotta go. I'll see y'all. Good night. No, I'm just kidding. No, I haven't dated in a long time, and I personally, I've been doing a lot of inner work on myself and my heart and my spirit, and
That's good.
right,
That's
like
good. That's
really alignment, and I'm gonna know when I know, like I'll know. But I'm not out here swiping right or left on Bumble or anything like that.
Girl,
Bumble. What's that?
That's a new
it's an app. It's a new app.
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
here's a new one. Oh.
Yeah.
Bumble.
Shanka, you know about that app?
I'm not on that app, but I am dating. To answer your question, yes.
Yeah.
And it actually feels good to be with an adult. I actually did not know what that felt like for a long time, but I actually love the sound of an adult. An adult that can talk to me authentically. An adult that can see me for who I am and love me for who I am, and I can be okay in that space with being who I am. I haven't been able to do that in a long time because a lot of people pull on me and look to me for a lot of things. So I'm finally getting, even if I don't ever like turn in the towel or get married, just learning how to love on me. I've loved on me a long time. So that alignment, okay, I got it. You know, that me, I know what color I know me now. Okay. I forgot about her for a long time, but she's here. And now I'm in love with her. And now I'm just like, okay, now I need to like find the next step and see what I need to do. But of course, just having my heart open to tests and trials. But it doesn't mean I have to give all my goods. I heard you say that, Stacey, earlier, but not in that manner. But it doesn't mean I have to give all of me. You understand what I'm saying? I just, it's okay to have fun. It's okay to go out fishing. I'm adventurous, so I love to do different things. And if you really know me, I don't share my life. I share my kids, but I don't share my personal life. It's none of your business unless I feel like sharing it. But it's a wonderful place to be in.
Stacey, now?
You know, I'm not.
She's undecided.
You know, I'm not. Yeah, I would love to. I would love to be dating. But no, I'm not. There's a lot going on with business and between Oasis and the Constant Group. Like I would love to. Again, I'm 44. I've never been married. I have a 7-year-old.
Yeah.
I know, and I'm good, and I'm good with that. I am really good with that. I would absolutely love to meet my Boaz. I absolutely would. But I'm also very patient at this point in my life to know that I'm very patient in knowing that whoever God brings to me and however that comes together, I'm okay with that. Like, I was in my 20s and I was out here all willy-nilly. You know what I mean? I was really all willy-nilly and that was nothing to be nothing. So right now I'm like, you know what, Lord, I get it. Like, let me just fall back.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Let me just fall back. So I'm good with that. Like I chit chat and I have conversations and and folks be in your DMs.
They really do.
They be in your DMs.
Like, what in the world?
And I'm like, yeah, no.
Wow. I don't even respond. I'm so busy.
You don't even respond.
saying, leave it on red. No.
Leave it on red.
My whole entire
see?
phone is muted.
You see
all
how my
day long.
girls right here are like, yeah, no, no.
See,
Yeah.
um,
So
it's
I'm at a place to where, listen, I'm ready to. I'm good. I'm good. I'm just gonna fall back, and I'm gonna wait for my Boaz to show up, and we're good.
Lord.
And we're good. Like I've already kind of been out there and hung out a little bit, but I'm good right now.
okay.
I'm
Okay.
good right now. I'm too close to 45 to be out here. You know, I got the business. I got my son. I got, we're thriving. We're doing great things. Yeah, we're good.
So
Yeah, we're good.
Stacey, I'm not even gonna mess with you because you done drunk the whole bottle of water. I'm not gonna do you drink the whole bottle of water. But I want to say this: Thursday Love, it started out as a marriage thing because God gave it to him, and that's what we saw it as. But as we have grown or evolved over the, because this year will make 5 years we've done Thursday Love, and our model has become loving me, loving you, loving us. And we see how important it is to truly love me. And I've listened to all of you ladies tonight, and you've talked about your business, you talked about your children, but you've also brought it back to loving me, finding yourself, getting to know yourself. Because as you continue to get older, you continue to evolve, you change. Things you like back in your 20s, you may not like now,
Right.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
things are totally different. But I appreciate you all coming on and giving us just a taste, or I say a taste, an insight of your entrepreneurship and the life that you lead. Because to me, it takes a special woman I'm not saying nobody else is not special, but in my eyesight, it takes a special woman to step out and be an entrepreneur. Anybody to be an entrepreneur, because to me, not only do you have the vision, but you have the grit, the grind, and no matter what, I'm not going to give up. I've listened to a lot of entrepreneurs say, some days I just don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know if I'm going to get through all this. And I hear the doubts and fears, but you don't let the doubts and fears stop you. You keep going, and that's why you got 17 years, Linnell. Shanka, you've been doing this for how long, girl?
Long time.
About 20 years. Emily, you said 10. Stacy, you said you've been visioning this since you was
25.
15. So 25.
25
So
years.
that's what I'm saying.
25 years.
It's not something that you just stop. It's something you continue to
Right.
birth, and you continue to evolve and nurture and love on. And it's part of who you are, who God has made you to be. And so we thank you. We do. We sincerely thank you all for coming on and sharing just a taste. I probably could do a segment too, because y'all could probably tell us a whole lot more, because I did want to get into, well, what if somebody wanted to start and all this good stuff. But just take the next few minutes, a minute apiece. If you had to give advice to someone who wanted to become an entrepreneur, or you just want to give advice to a single mother or to a mother, period, what would you say? Give it to them, and then we're going to head out.
If I could give a mother advice, it would be make sure you surround yourself with people who really would push you into purpose. It's okay to reevaluate your friends and don't be afraid to remove people who are not going where you're going, because I carried that dead weight. And also just realize everybody is not going to move. And as an entrepreneur, people will not understand you. The other day, I was just telling someone, "Oh, I got to get the drug abuse and prevention program, off the wall, because we partner with another organization that's going to bring that to our facility for free." The person was looking at me like, "How are we going to do that? You made this lump. Where are we going to fit that into our schedule?" And I said, "Well, if someone's going to give us $25,000, we're going to find a way to put it into our schedule." See, as an entrepreneur, you're not afraid. You already found a way before they even found a way. They can't understand us sometimes. And I already know that as a visionary, it's hard to see what you can't see. You understand? We can already see it. TJ made something that's very clear. So don't be afraid to write your vision and believe in your vision. People will not believe in it, and that's okay. But don't be afraid to keep taking those steps. And when you fall down, don't be afraid to get back up. The falling down purpose is what can you learn from falling down? Sometimes we don't ask those questions. I made a mistake. As a mother, say sorry to your kids. You're not perfect. It's okay to say sorry to them. That was very hard for me. So say sorry. Don't be afraid to get back up. Don't be afraid to start. Surround yourself with positive people and remove those people out of your life that's not for you. Stay focused. Always pour into your baby. Create something new. Don't let your idea become dead. So that's what I'll say. Don't ever stop dreaming. If that dream don't work, pick up something else. And that's what I did during the pandemic. I actually own a daycare. I really still own it. But during the pandemic, I actually sowed the first seed to open up a building for youth to come in and have an enrichment. So I took a part from one business to create another business. And that shows you that that first business is standing up. So what I'll say to you is, don't be afraid. And in this business, I bring other people inside. Bring someone else to you. Bring someone else to the table that may not have that experience. Because oftentimes we want to keep it for ourselves. It's not for us.
Right.
Bring someone else to that table that has a dream so that you can unlock those possibilities for someone else. And I promise you, I've seen blessings in that.
Okay. Emily?
I love what's being said. I would say just start. Go ahead and start. You don't need another certification. You don't need to do another course. Like, you're ready now. If you feel ready, you're ready. And when you begin, you'll receive the feedback on where your growth is, where the opportunities are for you to grow. And I would say, as far as an entrepreneur who's a mother, co-create your life and your business. Co-create it together and co-create it with your kids, with your family, involving everyone in your family in your dream and in your vision and what you're up to in the world. It's really easy for us to just put our heads down and block everything else out when we have our vision and we have our plan and we have our map and we're going for it. And what we've learned here tonight, what's been shared, is that can be really harmful to the ones that we love, to our kids, to our partners, if you have one. And so, I'd say like co-creation and communication, and be willing to move with your fear and start learning from your fear. What is it here to teach you? How is it trying to protect you? It's just an emotion. So just start.
Yeah. Now,
So my number one advice, my number one thing is, to whom much is given, much is required. Right? So if we take it back to that piece, like, we are absolutely, if you have received the if you've received all that it takes to kind of move forward and to grow and to establish and to do all it is, whatever is in your heart to do, right? It's time to do it for sure. If you've gotten that in your spirit, it's definitely time to do it, right? To whom much is given, much is required. But I would also couple that with saying that, ironically enough, May is also Mental Health Awareness Month. And there are a lot of people around us who have had a lot of challenges and a lot of challenges, but also a lot of expectations, a lot that has been put on us, right? So whether we are the entrepreneurs or the business owners or whoever we are, I challenge us all to make sure that we are very aware. Make sure that we are very aware of those who are around us, and making sure we understand there are people around us. If there are 10 people around you, at least 2 of them are dealing with something, diagnosed or undiagnosed or whatever the case may be. And many of these people, like, all the enthusiasm and the ambition and all that we have inside of us to start a business, right? And all the pressures we have on us, whether it be a mother or an entrepreneur or whatever the case may be, whatever it may be. I may be mixing it all together, but I think my point is just that there are people that are in arm's reach of us. And I think it's very important to touch base with folks that we know, touch base with folks that you know, and understand that 9 times out of 10, there are people that are in our circle that are dealing with some kind of mental health situation.
right.
And I think it's super important that whether you're an entrepreneur who is trying to sustain or establish, or whether they're not, or maybe they're not. Maybe they're not an entrepreneur, and maybe they're just out here just trying to figure some stuff out day to day. But we are surrounded. We are surrounded by people day to day, and so my thought, my prayer is that we just kind of reach out to those. You know, you know how that saying goes, like just reach out to the people, the strong people. You know,
Yes.
the reach out to the people that you think are strong around you, and check in with them,
All right,
because
Stacey.
there's definitely a lot going on. So,
So advice I'd have if I was going to give someone advice that was thinking about starting a business or becoming an entrepreneur, it would really just be super simple: is to trust God and just take the leap. Like, just go for it. Like, what do you have to lose? What do you have to lose? I mean, I think about sometimes like the things that I've tried, it didn't work. My sisters, my mom, oh, she's starting another business. And I am, because I'm going to keep going until it sticks. I'm just going to keep throwing stuff out there until it sticks and sticks and sticks. And so just trust God and take the leap. And because I say trust God because I'm a believer, but, you know, trust whatever deity you choose. But as for me and my house, we're going to trust the Lord and we're going to take the leap. And so that's the advice I have.
Yeah, I consider the entrepreneurs as the water walkers. Peter was the only one on the boat that stepped out to walk on water when all the disciples were scared and stayed inside the boat. And that's what I consider entrepreneurs are those ones that they know that the terrain is rough. They know there's a possibility they could drown, swept away, but they're willing to step out there on that boat by themselves. To do, you know, whatever it is that's on their, you know, on their heart, on their mind, whatever the vision is that God has given them.
Linnell.
Yes.
I don't know. Maybe you are, maybe not. But there's ministry in your life. Now, I'm not talking about like business ministry.
All right. It's 10:43.
No, let him talk.
We're going to talk after. Thank you, ladies, for joining us. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for all of you who came on and y'all listened and y'all supported and y'all did comment. I think somebody did ask about balance, so I hope they did see the answer. Get the answer that they were looking for, because I think the one that asked, she started her own business a couple years ago. She babysits dogs and cats and so forth or whatever. So yeah, Miss Crystal. So, you know, and she was trying to find the answer to balance and it all. But thank you, ladies, again. We hope everybody have a great and amazing Mother's Day. I know it's going to be rainy and kind of chilly this weekend, but I hope y'all have an amazing Mother's Day.
For sure.
I wish y'all a happy Mother's Day. I love you, ladies. If y'all want to stay on after we get off, you're more than welcome to. Catch us next week. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. On May 19th, we're having a couple of counselors to come on, a therapist to come on to talk about mental health. So on May 19th, please tune in. Next week, we'll have another couple to tell us about their life and their journey. So we hope y'all have a blessed weekend. Be safe. Y'all take care. Love you all. Y'all have a good night.
Good night.
Love you.
Good night.
Thursday love. Thursday